Alright, so a viewer had come into the shop and donated these two 80% receivers to me. I don't know if he's just that awesome and wanted to see some content, or if he bought these and realized he bit off a little bit more than he can chew. This one will probably, because this is an AR-10 receiver, will ultimately probably be finished, and I'll build my girl's gun on it. Because when I bought that Armor Light receiver, I told her that I would build the BA Shredder project for her, and she said she wanted to paint it pink to match her AR-15. And I almost got myself wrapped up in a domestic abuse case over that one. I should probably clarify. That's a joke. Don't beat your girl. Especially don't beat your girl because you think that I said it was okay. But yeah, so she'll probably get this when it's completed so she can paint it pink and design the rifle around her specifications, because she was already butting heads with me over the BA Shredder specifications. She wanted something totally different than what I wanted to build. So that, or I might wind up having to buy another Armor Light AR-10 receiver. I don't know. Definitely up. So let's go over the options that you got with these. What can you do if you buy an 80% receiver? But before you buy an 80% receiver, because a lot of the idea behind these is I'll build this gun. It's not traceable because it doesn't have a serial number. I didn't have to do background check to get this, but I do need to complete it. And then there's this idea that that'll keep the feds from showing up at my house when they start doing their gun grabs. Well, that would be great if you've never ordered anything online that's firearm related in any way, shape, or form. You've never posted anything on Facebook. You've never bought a hunting license. And if this is how you want to enter the gun world, like, kudos. Because you're not just putting your toe in the water, you're diving in frickin' head first. They're pretty involved. Now, I get the idea of building one of these and then hiding it, and then they'd show up, I'd give them my registered guns, but I'd still have this one hidden away somewhere. I don't suspect that's how it would go down. I think if they show up to your house, it's going to be shotgunning off your door hinges, flashbanging, and ripping your house apart from top to bottom and walking around your property with a metal detector trying to find hidden firearms. Because if we've hit that point, things have gotten pretty bad. So, there may be more options out there that I don't know about, but I just wanted to touch on a few. The main point is to get what I would do. So your first option, we got tools and jig. Now this doesn't count your drill press or your router or anything like that. It's just your basic bits. And your jig, you can get that set up for $239. You can do 80%ers with this, but they look rough. If you've practiced on a few, you can make them look pretty decent, but it does not give you a clean finished product. Your next option is the Ghost Gunner machine. It's basically a really cheap CNC machine with a program in it, so you would throw your receiver in there, you'd type in the go command, and it would just cut this thing out, and it would be done. I haven't seen completed receivers, but I'm told they're pretty clean. $500, and I'm sure there's some hidden costs, like you gotta get bits or something like that, so you'll probably be into this for $600. Next, you can get a mini mill on eBay. It's $223. That's not a bad option at all. Plus, you're gonna have to get your tooling. Looking at this bad boy on eBay, it looks pretty Fisher Price. I don't suspect you're gonna get much life out of it. It's probably gonna barely do the job intact. If I were to do these two receivers with that, I bet by the end of it, the machine will more or less be garbage. Next one, Amazon Micro Mill. I was checking out the specifications. I'll actually put a link to this one in the description in case you want to go that route. It's $474 plus tooling. It looks really decent. It looks quality built. It looks like it can handle the right size bits. It's small enough, so if you're not overworking the machine, it looks like it should be more than capable of doing these receivers. And a mill is very useful. Just having that in your garage, there's so many projects you can do with a mill. Next, for your drill press, if you already have a drill press, you can get a mill table for it for $64. Now, a drill press is only supposed to go on an up and down axis, so the head's got a lot of slop. So if you were to go to the table and throw a mill bit in there, it will work. You're not going to get the cleanest cuts. You'll be able to tell that, okay, that's not a professional cut. But it will definitely do the job. And then you're only into the table for $64 plus whatever mill bits you need to get. Definitely going to want to get one of these. Now you also have the freehand option. So you take this. All these holes in that, they'll have a start point. So let's pretend that the cutout through here is a start point off of here and a start point off of there. You'd set your caliper for that, drag it, put a score in there. You know not to go past the score. You just sit there with your drill press, go through it over and over and over, slowly making your bits bigger. And then you go in there with a Dremel. Very, very involved. I do not recommend the freehand option. And you're going to have a product that looks like hell. It's not going to look good. Yeah, the score line is very visible. I don't know if you can see it on camera. I don't want to score this yet. Now, this is what I will probably do. Sorry to interrupt this video, but I had an oopsie. An oopsie doopsie. A big enough oopsie doopsie where I had to take down the original video and add in this clarification just so you understand what's going on. So before we continue on with my original video and I tell you what I recommend, understand that information is way out of date. I have not looked into what you need to do for completing an 80%er all the way back when you still had to thread the buffer tube. That's how old my information is. So what have I learned? Because a couple of people have blew up my comments until I actually looked into it. Basically what I'm gaining, because I had heard about this before, but I never actually looked into it because I stopped caring about 80%ers a long time ago because I discovered it was far easier just to spend like $40 on a PSA receiver and lose it in a boating accident than trying to complete an 80%er and still somehow manage to stay out of the eye of the government. A machine shop you'd go in there, you would hand them your 80%er, hand them cash, they would hand an already completed 80%er, and you would leave. They were selling unserialized, unlicensed receivers. ATF caught wind of this, and so they wanted to shut that down. Maybe not even the ATF, some sort of government did. Well, whoever wanted to shut it down really didn't know how to shut it down because the ATF, they have to do with firearms. But what they were doing was still technically legal. So they had to regulate the space, the tools, and the help. To the whiteboard of knowledge! So, the way the law is written, now it gets really confusing because there's a whole bunch of manufacturers selling jigs and stuff where they put their interpretation of the law in there, and then they're like, okay, buy my jig, or buy this tool because you can't get help at a machine shop. But the way it's written as a catch-all. I'm not 100% sure this is the actual law. This might be another interpretation, but it appears to be the actual, what the ATF wrote. I'll post it right here. As you're reading through this, you will notice that no, it doesn't just specify machine shops. It specifies tools, space, and help. You need to own both of these and get none of this for it to be a legally completed 80%er. So, a jig, because it's designed to help you complete your 80%er, would be illegal. An apartment building, because you don't own that space, you have broken the law to build an 80%er. If you've bought your house, but you're still making payments on it because there's a business that owns that space, that's still illegal. You have to completely outright own the space you are building your 80%er in. The tools. Again, it gets really weird because the way the law is written, it could be interpreted that Black & Decker, because you bought that, you didn't already own that bit, but you bought it with the intent to complete an 80%er, Black & Decker should have to put a serial number on that tool. Help. The shipping company, because with your intent, you're going to make this a completed firearm. The post office should have been a licensed FFL, and they should have put a serial number on your 80%er. It's really written that way. Now, I know everybody's going to be like, oh, no, that's not what it means. It's just talking about going to a machine shop and getting help. It doesn't matter what they writ it to accomplish. The way it is actually written on paper, it is more or less not legal to complete this unless, one, you're an '07 manufacturer. You plan on putting a serial number on this and selling it. Number two, you literally own everything. Your house is bought and paid for. The car you went and picked up your 80%er from the post office is bought and paid for. You don't own any money on there. Because it literally says any business or entity that provides you help. Any, not just a certain business, any business. And then you have to already own the tools, but you didn't buy the tools with the intent to complete your 80%er. So you have to already have a mill that you worked on some other project, and now that you own it, and you own the space, because they're very clear, the tools in the space have to be personally owned by you, not by any business or entity. But again, I'm not a lawyer, and you're not here to get legal advice. But for just 1 second, I'm going to pretend to be a lawyer, and I'm going to give you a little fraction of legal advice. When you complete this, do not keep a journal of exactly how you completed it. And definitely don't send that journal to the ATF. Now, the whole point of these is to make an invisible gun. So why would you even care about the laws? You're making an invisible gun that is supposed to hide. Now, as a friend, let's pretend I know you personally, you've come over to my house, you've asked to build an 80%er. What would I tell you? I would simply tell you a story. See, when I was going through school, I refused to bring homework home. At some point, the teacher had talked to my parents had talked to me, and they're like, why are you not bringing your homework home? You need to do that. I said, because homework is due to one of two things. One, the teacher is intending to waste my time, and they are intentionally giving me enough work that I cannot finish at school to where they are wasting my time even outside of school. Or two, the teacher is just so stupid they can't figure out time management, and they need to work on their time management skills better so I am able to complete the work at school. And I would only do what I could at school, and then anything else just didn't get done. They had me bring my homework home once, and I showed them. We started doing it. I'm like, see, we already did this. We're just repeating the same crap over and over and over again. They either suck at time management, or they are intentionally trying to waste my time. And I was like, yes, that's truly how I feel. And they're like, well, if that's truly how you feel, I'm not going to try to get you to go against your heart. You should always follow your gut. So we'll support you on this. Understand there's probably going to be consequences. In second grade, the teacher held me after school and put me up on some stupid computer game where you'd have to do what's currently you should know at that age to move on through the game. And I was able to beat the game with ease. And she told my parents clearly he knows what he's doing. He's just refusing to do his work. So then I didn't get bothered again until like 8th grade. And that teacher's like, well, if you don't do your homework, we're going to keep you here. I didn't actually sing the song, but this is what I was singing. I was like, time is on my side. But I told the teacher, I'm like, so let's say you keep me back this year. Are you going to keep me back next year? And the year after that? And the year after that? How many years can you honestly deal with me before you send me on? Well, so then she made a bargain with me if I went to summer school that she would pass me. And I did. And then my high school year, I didn't go to 2/3 of the year because I met this girl and she wanted to just go somewhere and bang instead of go to school. So that's what I did. We broke up at the last 1/3 of the year, and I went to the principal. I'm like, if I don't pass, I'm coming back again next year. Do you want to deal with me next year? Let me test out of everything. And how about if I pass the test, I get to walk the aisle with everyone else? Well, at first that was a huge problem. They eventually seen the reason to it. They let me test out on everything, and then I graduated high school. So, if they are intentionally making something you cannot pass, you cannot legally do this unless you hit those very, very small exceptions, then why even try to stick to their rules at all? Again, this is supposed to be an invisible gun. As a friend, and I don't know you, so you're not my friend, so I'm not giving you advice, but if my friend was right here, I would be like, do what you gotta do to get it done. Don't keep a record. Why would you keep a log of what you're doing? This is supposed to be a secret, invisible gun anyway. And even if you did try to just do a jig, or do it at home, or do what the manufacturers are telling you can legally do, but you can't legally do because that's not the way the law is written. Any tool provided by a business or entity, any help provided by a business or entity, any space provided by a business or entity, like somebody renting to you, a bank owning that business, you have broken the law. So because it's a catch-all, and you literally cannot do this to the letter of the law, at some point you are breaking a law. Would a DA be able to prosecute you with that? That's a whole nother question. Again, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not getting you legal advice, but they could come after you. You might as well just do it in the way you see easiest as possible. Get it done, keep it a secret, and press on. Now back to the video. And these are the reasons why. Find a mill. I know where 3 of them are. I know somebody, I know where a machine shop is, and I got the high school. So, the best reasons for this is you have no machine and tools at your house. Because let's say they come to your house and raid you, and you got the ghost gunner machine there, and there's a bunch of aluminum files, and then you got all these programs pulled up. You got paperwork on what you need to cut your receivers to. It's going to be pretty obvious that they need to look harder for your guns because there's guns there somewhere that you made yourself and they're hidden and they're clearly not on the books. And that's the downside to almost all of these, is it's obvious you have manufactured a firearm. Number 2, it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Even if I offer the machine as, say, $100 an hour. After setup, getting your tooling done, figuring out exactly what needs to be done, this could probably be done in about 45 minutes a piece. So you're looking at, what, an hour and a half. So you're looking at $150. Aside from getting the drill press table or doing it freehand, you can't get cheaper than that. $150 is cheaper than all of these. And the next biggest reason is it's worked on by a professional. Your cuts will be very clean and they'll look very, very good. The hardest part with finding a mill is talking to the person. Now, I'm not a lawyer. Do not take any of this at all as legal advice. You need to check your state laws, come to a decision on yourself. The hardest part is what you say. There's a couple of different options you can go with. You can talk to them on the phone and be like, hey, I have some aluminum I'm milling out for a project. I will give you $150. I'll give you $100 an hour to help me with it. Get them agree to the project before you show up there, and then just come in like a boss, like everything's okay. All right, so this is what we're going to do. Here's the sheets, blah, blah, blah. Let's go get this set up, and don't actually leave the option for them to back out. They might anyway, but usually you'll feel a person out. You're going to want to talk to them first and get a feel for their personality so you know how to pull the right strings to get what you want done. Or you could go in and be like, hey, I'm writing an article in a magazine on how to complete these. You know, I just want to take some pictures as we go through this. And I'm going to pay you $100 an hour to hold my hand while I use your machine. Because, I mean, really all you have to do is press the start button on the machine and then he's helping you with it. If he presses the start button and pulls all the levers and does all the setup, then he's manufacturing it and that would be illegal. You got to do some work. Whether that's press the start button and he tells you how to pull the lever or whatever. Or let's say you go to the high school, get to know the shop teacher, do a bunch of projects there, make sure everything's cool, make like a table, a bunch of other crap, make sure you're on good terms, and then one day when no one's around, pull this bad boy out of your back pocket, go over to the mill and get your work done. You should be able to do this fast enough where nobody will bother you, and I shouldn't say most people. It does kind of look like a receiver. But you could like mount this in like a block of wood or something so it looks like some sort of insert and you're just cutting out the insert. And that would be the hardest part to do it because there's so many people afraid of breaking the law. Again, you're going to want to check your state laws and check your federal laws on what they can and can't help you with. There used to be something called build parties, where people would buy these machines, and you paid an admission into that, and they all help each other, and you all come together and build it, but apparently that's illegal now. I could be wrong on that. Again, check your laws. So anyway, out of these 3 options, to get the best possible result at the cheapest possible price, find a machine that already exists. A machinist, whatever, become his friend. Get in there. And that's what I actually recommend doing before you buy one of these. Find a professional, friend him, buy him some beers, whatever, hang out with him for a few months, get on a talking basis, and then hit him with the left hook. Hey, let's cut this out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the content. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to check out any of my other videos, click on the links up here. If you'd like to help support the channel, I got my Patreon. Like I said, I'll have the link to the micro mill from Amazon in the description. That one appears to be really good. Again, I don't have it in front of me, and that's what would really make the difference. If I'm actually holding it, I can inspect it. But just kind of glancing over it, you can adjust enough things. And I also have an affiliate link for the camera I'm using. Even if you don't buy what the links are for, just clicking on the links and doing your Amazon shopping, getting shit you're already going to get anyway, I get a little kickback for it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.